Fine. So let's see. Question
Okay.
one. You wish to hide a bean or a field programmatically. Where will you do that? So which place will do? Controller, right? Controller is a place where we can write a logic to enable or disable a particular item. I think we have this logic. Or
Yeah.
maybe even if you use the logic, maybe what we can do is alternate way is also possible. Nothing but we have to apply a spell property. Can you see it? All the spell with the limited usage can also be considered.
Yeah.
So you can use a spell logic. Using that also you can do it. So but here
Okay.
something like after we don't have spell property they mentioned. So the control is a major logic which I can go with.
Sure.
Okay. And next question, within which method of controller will you hide that bean or field written when bean or field or button written programmatically? So in this one, the only possible option is process request. The only option is process request. Why? Because as per the OAF framework, as per the OAF
Mm-hmm.
framework, every controller will have a process request as well as process form request. Process request is
Okay.
a method actually they call it during page load because that is a place where it will generate the page. Nothing but like our page source is .xml file, right? If you see our page
Mm-hmm.
source code, it is .xml file. This XML file has to be converted into HTML at runtime. So what happens is during the process request, if you try to convert all this logic from your XML into HTML, that is why during
Mm-hmm.
construction of the page itself, it has to know what are the beans should be shown, what are the beans should not be shown. So that is why it's the only thing we can do. And even if you try to perform process from request, it will simply raise an exception. It says that passivation error. It will return that saying that passivation error. Maybe I can show you that logic also. Here, but we are involved in field, right? If you observe, we have written a logic. We have written a logic
Mm-hmm.
to hide a particular component, right? Where did we wrote? Where we wrote? We written the process request, isn't
Yeah.
it? Right? So this was the first question. Even second question was also a similar one. Okay. And tell me the practical step for the extension of the view object starting from JDeveloper to starting from Java talk to JDeveloper. See, this is a part of a view extension concept, but still I can write it. But I'm not sure whether you can answer in the interview or not. Extension as of now,
Why is that?
no. Extension is a
Okay. Because,
extension is the last
sorry,
topic.
go ahead.
Extension is the last topic which we generally cover in the OAF training. See, even if
Okay.
I can tell you the step everything, but see, still it's not a safer to tell that what is it. I mean, still you can tell the steps and everything, but if you tell the steps, they will ask you different questions. So better you say that
Yeah.
you don't know that.
Okay.
Okay. 1 minute, Sachin. So what is your core area? Like, do you work in the forms or report? Which area you work on? What is your
Sorry, come again. What's the question?
What is your area of expertise? What is the area of expertise? I mean, do you work in the reports or implementation?
Mine?
Yeah.
I have done pretty much everything. 15 years I've been working on Oracle applications. So I've done forms, reports,
Okay. Okay.
interfaces, conversions.
Okay. Fine. Got it. So what I'm telling is, in the OAP we observed, we have a custom implementation, right? Like initially also we discussed some time back, custom implementation, personalization, as well as extension. So these
Mm-hmm.
are the major area of questions which you come across. See, the questions of custom implementation will be different from the personalization, right? Because the functionality is totally different. In the forms also, we have custom implementation, isn't it? As well as just you have only personalization concept. You don't have any extension concept in the forms. In the form, you don't have an
Mm-hmm.
extension concept because personalization is a feature which like we can also write UI level changes logic as well as conditional logic also. Conditional logic can be implemented in the personalization. But in the OAF,
Mm-hmm.
personalization allows only UI level changes. It allows only UI level changes. If you want to do any conditional logic, you have to write in the extension.
Okay.
That is the reason we go with extension if you have any conditional level logic. Nothing but For a given user, this region should be shown. For other users, this region should not be shown. Or maybe you want to handle the button programmatically. In those areas, you have to go with the extension. So overall, you will find CO extension, VO extension, AM extension, EVO. These are the major extensions which you come across in the normal real-time scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
So please set the scenario. Okay, we'll skip that. So in Oracle forms, when we have when validated record, what will be the equivalent in the OAF framework? So when validate record is nothing but like while saving it will get called, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean I don't know in the form. I hope that this particular trigger, this is a trigger which is available in the form. I hope this will be called.
Yeah, that is a.
Yeah. So this will be called when a user clicks on
Yeah, that
save.
is.
So what we have is
Sorry, what?
when validate record trigger will be called when user clicks on save. Is it correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So nothing but during the event. No, in our case, we have three methods, right? So overall in the controller, we have process request, process form data, as well as process form request. There are totally three methods which are available in the controller. But when a user raises an event, the first method which will be called is process form data. This is the one which validates. This is a by default logic which validates the user input. Nothing but like let us say you have any text input item which is where it is a mandatory field. Automatically it raises the form validation error, right? Automatically it raises the form
Mm-hmm.
validation error. That is done by the process form data. That will be done by process form data.
So, but the data validation, isn't it not done through EO?
Data that yeah. See, let me tell you. There are multiple steps involved. It's not a single step. Let us say if you say now mandatory parameters that are done by default by the process form validation. There's no single answer for this one. There's no single answer for this
Okay.
one. First thing is process form data validation. After that, it will come into process form request. Then it will go to AM, then to VIVO, then to the EVO. Of course, then to database. So here it is asking that like whenever you perform a save button. So as we discussed earlier also, when you click on a save button, what will happen? The control will go from process form request to the AM. Then it will call the Vivo. Then it will do the appropriate logic which is available in the Evo. Nothing but let us say a primary key or maybe some numeric constraint or whatever a validation. That
Mm-hmm.
remaining validation will be done by the entity object. Initial validation, just if it is a form validation, that will be done by process form data. Else remaining validation by default will be done by the entity object. So the answer
Okay.
is either process form data or entity object.
Yeah.
So we can say that this will do only this will do only form parameter validation, and the remaining database level validation will be done by the entity object. So entity object could be the answer. Okay. So how do you disable all the OAF? See, most of the questions will be in the part of
That
procedures or
is that is
extensions.
just a profile option. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
that.
just a
This is a
profile.
profile
You
option.
can see that. How do you disable all the
It is called
extensions?
something DEFN, percent
Yeah, FND
DEFN.
percentile enable disable you will have. You can just do that.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
Yeah.
working on two projects, both involve one instance is 11.10, other is R11. Can you set up the development environment for the both instances in your PC laptop? Yes, please explain how. Yes. What we can do is, see here, as we know that like during your, like when you do a normal
I
like
can
yeah.
I can answer this question. So for this one, like we'll first of all we'll find which is the because these two there will be two different patch files available on that Metalink document. You just unzip them different at different sites, like different folders, and
Mhm.
that is pretty much it, right? So now you have two installations. You can put your DBC files in two like for 11i. You can do the DBC file, putting the DBC file and everything. All those steps you can do in for 11i instance in the appropriate version for JDeveloper version for 11i, and then for release 12 you do it on the release 12 one, right?
No, see, that is the initial step. So what is asking here is, let us assume that you have the software, everything is done. How do you set up the
Mm-hmm.
environment variable? How do you set up the environment variable? That is the question. Can you set
Okay.
up the development environment for both these instances on your PC or laptop? So it is asking that, like let us say you have a JDeveloper in the C drive, you have a JDeveloper in the D drive.
Mm-hmm.
Assume that yeah, in the
Yeah.
C drive, I have my R11 JDev. I'll just write like this. in folder R11, sorry, it is, yeah, R11 JDoc. In the D drive, I have my, in the D drive, I have my R12 JDoc. Now, as you know that we have environment variable for JDoc user home. This is what we use it for the purpose of setting the environment variable. But at any point
That's
of
right.
time, you can set the environment variable to only one particular value, isn't it? Two things we cannot do it.
Yeah, that's right.
So let us say, but parallelly I want to work on both the things. Nothing but I want to open two developers. Can we open two developers at the same time?
That I don't know.
Okay.
So
I will
yeah,
answer
you tell
this
me.
one. I will answer this one.
Hmm.
First of all, JDoc user home, this is not mandatory. This is not mandatory at all. If you don't set it,
Okay.
if you don't set, what will happen is, see, I'll show you that practically for you. Let us say my computer. So let me close my developer initially. Now advanced environment variable.
It will ask you. It will ask you to where to change the save the file, right? Every time.
No, nothing.
Okay.
Let me show you. So
Okay.
now I'm resetted values here. I don't have any developer setting, right?
Okay.
I have a different
Mm-hmm.
JDoc user home. Let me start my developer. If you observe, what will happen is, okay. Now see here. Here I have my some set of samples which are already available also. What is the
Mm-hmm.
region and where they are getting stored? If you see here, can you see the path of them? I'll show you 1 minute. Can you see the path of them? It is getting stored in the JDoc bin directly by default. See JDoc, JDoc bin,
Mm-hmm.
my project. JDoc bin, JDoc, my project. So this is a place where it will by default will get stored. That's it.
Okay.
What will happen is if you don't set the environment variable, so by default it stores the file in this location. If it is R12, nothing but if it is R12 JDoc. But if it is R11 JDoc, if it is R11 JDoc, I don't think it may work properly. I don't think it may work properly. So better we can set the environment variable. I
Okay.
am not sure because it has been long time I worked in that. It has been 5 years back I worked in that area. So that version is generally a different one, right?
Okay.
So mostly it will have the same property, but what you can see is for the article, it's not mandatory to set the environment variable. So what I can do is I
Mm-hmm.
can skip the environment variable for the R12. For the R11, I will set my environment variable. So it will point to appropriate location. So in the R12, I will not set the value because at any point of time you can set the environment variable to only one location. So for the
Mm-hmm.
R11, I will set the environment variable as we know what we do. For the R12, I will skip it. So by default, it will point to some location like this. In the JDoc bin, it will point JDoc bin, JDoc, my project.
Yeah.
Here. So how to enable a pop-up screen in the OAF framework without using JavaScript? So for this one, like there is a region called a pop-up region is there. A pop-up region is there. We can use it to show pop-up. There is a region called pop-up. There is a
Okay.
total. There's a new. There's a region called pop-up which we can use it to achieve this functionality. Can you add new columns to advanced table regions or section using personalization? Yes, we can add it.
Can you add new columns into an advanced table region? Okay.
So there is a there are two tables. See, like in the OAF framework, as of now we have been using some table region, right? We have been
Yeah.
using a table region. So in this one, there are two types. One is just a simple table, and other one is called advanced table. So what is the difference between simple table and advanced table is, see, the advantage is in the simple table for every item, first thing is the simple table is having a wizard option. Advanced table is not having any wizard option. It doesn't have any wizard option. And
Mm-hmm.
other one is it supports advanced level it supports column grouping. And also
Okay.
it is also having a separate in a given column, you have to have a separate item like this, as well as you require another field for the header purpose. Nothing but your column header.
Okay.
But in a simple table, if you see here, for a given column, whatever the header what you mention for the item, that will be displayed to the user. You don't have separate header for the column. Within the item itself,
Oh,
you have to mention your item value as well as header.
okay.
So there are some differences between advanced table as well as simple table.
Mm-hmm.
tell me in this scenario, you see these all, you can just skip this one. Okay, they explain every, you can say, see extension, these are all extension questions. These are all extension. Slight advanced question, why can't you can skip that one also. How would you know whether aim you're trying to extend to aim or not? Which two types of project is most, which two type of extension is most common? You can say CO as well as VB. These are the two extensions which are very much common in most of the projects. 80% of the times, 80% of the times you go with CO as well as VO extensions.
Okay.
Why do you think multiple AMs are required in transaction or transactions? Give an example where this is applicable. See, like this can be, you know, like scenario could be, let us say you have a, where is that? Yeah. Assume that you are in the HRMS module, you have an employee page, and you are navigating from the employee page to some other, you know, like a supply, I mean the a PO page, a purchase order page, purchase order details page. Now, this employee page will have its own AM, isn't it? The employee page will have its own AM,
Yeah.
right? This will have its own AM. So both the set of things. See here, why can't these two pages have the same AM? First of all, you know that belongs to a different module. This belongs to another module, right? So while designing it, what we do, we'll assign set of V4s to the relevant. See now employee. This is the employee page. This is the purchase order details page. First of all, they are not related at all, right? They are not related at all.
Yeah.
They belong to different transactions. Generally, if they belong to the same transaction, then you can say that, you know, like we can have the same AM. In our case, if you observe, in our first page implementation, what we have done, we had a single AM there. We had a single AM. Why? Because the total transaction is a single step. The total, you know, like the total project, the navigation, or maybe the what is it, the transaction was a single step. So that is why we have used only one AM. But let us say if you have a different functionality and if they are unrelated, better we can have a different AM. That is the thing. Okay.
Yeah. So just on the previous question, what are the two types of extensions? So let's give them a few examples, right? You know, what for would you use a CO extension, and what for we will use a VO extension. So will you give me a few examples of each?
I can
On
tell you,
question number 50.
I can tell you theoretically it is not that much easy to understand these areas. Yeah, but see, I can tell you the thing is, CO extension is used whenever you require any business logic to be changed or to handle a new button or, you know, to dynamically control an item or a region. So these are some of the functionalities where you can use the CO extension.
So this rendering we can do through personalization too, right? So
Conditionally, if you want to do conditionally, then you have to go with CO.
okay.
It's all conditional, right? When you want to do something conditionally, you have to go with and the VIVO extension is used whenever you want to change, to add up a new column in the SQL query or to create condition. Ultimately, whenever you want to modify the VIVO, then you have to go with VIVO extension. Let us assume that existing table region or maybe header region is showing some set of fields. You require a new field to be shown, but that particular field is not already available in the existing VIVO. Then what we can do is we can modify the existing VIVO. That particular process is called VIVO extension.
Okay.
I will send you some
So
PPTs. You go through them.
yeah, the PPT that you sent me.
No. I have a separate PPT for extension.
Okay, sure.
Personalization as well as extension, I have a separate PPT. Just go through them. Maybe that may help out.
Okay, sure. No, I have done some personalization. I have also worked on rebranding as well. So, like, you know, the total look and feel of the application, I have changed it. So, rebranding and all, I have done. Personalization also, I have done. I have some idea about it, but I didn't have a formal training on it, right? So, it is like bits of pieces. You want to do this, you just Google it, you learn it, you do it, and you move on. So, okay, going back to that question that you were saying that, okay, so we're talking about extending a VO. So, actually, I was interviewing somebody, and the person mentioned to me that they have done that person was talking about OAF framework, and she mentioned to me that she worked on a project where they were actually storing some information. They had run out of for some suppliers for supplier sites.
Okay.
They have run out of the flex fields, the DFFs. So what they did was they created a new table, and that table had the site use ID or site ID, whatever it was, right? So it has that ID, and that was the primary link to that table. And then it had, like, they just created attribute 1 to attribute 100 on that one, on, like, whatever. So what they said was whatever, and they wanted to display, let's say, five attributes out of that. So how would we do that? What are the steps on that one?
See, I'll tell you, this is one of the real-time bits where even I come across in one of the projects. It's a normal thing which most of the US customers will have the problem. See, let me tell you here. See, now what we do is, like, as per your question, what you said, what I understand is you have a seeded page. It was using some DFF, and all the attributes are over. All the attributes are finished.
That's it.
They still have some more business requirement to store the extra attributes. So in this scenario, what we have to do is we have to create. So as per this one, first of all, what you have to do is you have to create a custom table, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to create your custom OAF shared region. You have to create a shared region. So rather than creating a page, what we do is we'll create a region. Even if you observe, we have an option here, just here. Click on right click here, click on new. OA component, we have something called region. So we have to create a shared, this is called shared region. This is called shared region. This shared region you can embed in any other pages. This shared region you can embed in any other pages. Okay?
Okay.
You have to create a shared region, and once your region function is done, what you have to do is you have to using personalization, we have to assign the shared region on the shared page. That's it.
Okay.
So this shared region should have all the functionality, like whatever the thread operations you are telling about, like a DML operations, create, read, update, as well as delete. All the things should be available in your shared region itself.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now, what we want is, like, let's say, so this is one particular, so this is, let's say that it is a tabular thing, right? So this is a table in which this information is already there. So for simplicity, I would say, okay, this is some PO and POs, right? So PO headers we are talking about. So for each PO, there is just one line, and that is tabular. It is just displayed tabular, and we want to use this thing. So what we want to do is at the end of it, I want these 4 or 5 attributes to be available. So how when we define this as a new region, will it appear under it, over it, on the side of it? Where will it appear?
No, it depends upon the position where you want to enable. You can have we may not achieve everywhere, but the position we can define, right? By performing personalization, you can mention that where exactly you want, isn't it? That is how.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I'm not 100% sure, so that's what I was asking.
No. It can see. It will be visible, but exactly what is the way we want, that may not be achievable. But generally, that can be achieved. What you can do is there is let me choose. Recently, I have done the same particular requirement for one of the customers. Same thing. That was in a relationship. What you say, you have party relationship side. For the digital location, that customer was they have they have used all the fields, and they have used all the fields. They want some extra fields to be available for the purpose of storing some extra information. So I use the same stuff. Even I have that one. I can see it. I will show you. Yeah. I'm not sure. Not this one, but Okay. So here to add up the region in the page, we have something called flexible layout, flexi layout or something is that flexi layout, and then flexi region.
Okay.
This is the concept we have to use it. So here we have the details. Yeah. So here now V2 shift wizard, just click on details again. I think update it. Yeah, click on update. Okay. So what happened is like here, this is a part of a DFS. This country, this is not this one. Yeah, this one. This is a part of a DFS. Can you see account ID? This was a
Yeah.
DFS. So the requirement was all the DFF were finished. All the DFF attributes were finished, and we have what we have done is using personalization. We have created one more region. Simply click on personalize. See position. What was the expectation was we have shown this. We have shown the region after this one. After account side area, we have just shown that region. So what we can do is click on personalize. So we have a reorder option also, right? We have an option called reorder. You can just use that particular option also. Let me just, yeah. Complete view. Click on complete view. Okay. And then create item. At page layout level, I'm creating item. Right. So here something called flexible layout. Can you see? So here we just need to create flex layout. This is nothing but layout name. This is just a flex layout name. Okay. So after you create a flex layout, then you can create your shared region. Nothing but with the flex layout, you have to create one more thing called. Let me see that. Now it comes somewhere. Where is that flex layout? Yeah, flexible layout. Can you see? Yeah. So here just click on. Yeah. In this flex layout, you have to create an item. Click on create item. Here you have some flexible region. Here you have to mention the region ID. Flexible content. Yeah. So here what you have to do is ID, the flex content, and then here it is having a property called extend, right? In the extend, you have to mention your region path. You have to mention your shared region path. A
Okay.
shared region also should be deployed into the server. A shared region also should be deployed in the server. Got it?
Yeah.
So that is how we can we can create a shared region and you can use that shared region in the series region. So coming to the next question. On any given from what is the sequence in which these methods require a controller? Any answer? Do you know the answer? Question number 17.
So it would be the first thing would be process process form data first.
This is the sequence. Okay.
Okay.
A user clicks on submit button on a page. The fields on this page are attached to the Zebo server, which in turn attached to entity object. An exception is raised from the validations EVO due to data validation errors. Tell me which method in controller will be fired when a submit button is clicked on that page. Assuming that validations in EVO throw an exception. See, when you click on a submit button, always see generally if you observe process form data will not be available, but that will be called by default. Then process form request will be called. If you observe any of the controller, if you observe any of the controller here, you will never see process form data method. You will never see process form data method, but that will get called by default. See here, I'll show you that practical sample, then you can understand very easily. So let us say I'm in the search ER invoice page, right? And in the invoice
Mm-hmm.
page, so what I will do is, 1 minute, I'll copy this method. Okay, so I'll just place somewhere, but still see when it will get called. Oh, our logic became so complex. Huh? Process request. Now, process form data. Better I see here. Process form data. Now I'll say in motion. I mean, I'm in the process form data. Okay. If I check this one, how it works. But by just seeing this one, you can, we can easily understand which method we are in. And in the process form request method, and here finally I'll write process form request method. There was one process, yeah, this is a process request method. See, now I have written three methods. One is process request, I have written a SOP.
Mm-hmm.
Process form data, I have written one more SOP. Process form request, I have written one more SOP. System.out
Yeah.
of internet. So let us see in which sequence it will result, so then you can answer all those questions. So I'm just running the page now.
So do you have this Oracle applications installed locally?
No, no, remote desktop.
Huh?
It's a remote desktop.
It's a remote desktop, okay. Because when I I created those pages, right, and I run it, like it takes like at least like 3-4 minutes to run the page.
Yeah, if you are in a VPN, that is a problem. If it's
No,
one,
even not VPN, even at work. I've tried it even at work, and it's the same problem there too.
if it's your your development center is not in the same country, is it outside?
Oh no 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 no
That is
no
a,
no. They are in Geneva.
that is the reason. If they are in a different country, of course, it takes network latency, all those things come to the picture. Now, of course, here, the first thing what we call process request, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this will be called only once, right? This will be called only once. It will not be called again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm refreshing this one and clearing the log. Just observe, let us say, just click on any button. Let's say I will click on delete button and see what will happen. Can you see which method called first?
And process form data.
Got it?
Yeah.
Got it? So process form data will be called by default, and after that, you know that process form request will be called.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yes.
What are the steps to embed a custom region in standard OAF page? Just now we are seeing it, right? Flexible layout, flexible content or layout, then flexi content, something is there, right? This is what we are
Yeah.
doing. And we have two OAF framework pages A and B. Depending upon the value of a department, select in page A. You wish to restrict the values of approvers in page B. How will you do this? Why would you not prefer to extend Vivo object of LOP? You have a OAF pages. Depending upon the department value in the page A, you wish to restrict the list of approvers in the page B. How will you do it, and why you not prefer to the extend the Vivo? See, if they're custom pages, see, if the custom pages, why do you want extension? Extension is not required, right? If the custom pages,
Mm-hmm.
extension is not required because I will have a source code, I can simply modify it. Okay. If let
Yeah.
us say with the seeded pages, he is saying that like, maybe this question could be in the scenario of seeded pages. That is why he is
Mm-hmm.
asking about extension, right?
Yeah.
So if it is seeded pages, then what I can do is, like to restrict in LOB, so I just a CY extension is required. Why? Because CY extension is required. Why? Because I will pass the parameter, I'll pass parameter LOB in the page B to page B to restrict the value of LOB. That's it. I just
Okay.
pass the parameter to the LOB VO in the page B, in the page B process request method to restrict the values. I may write
Mm-hmm.
clear, I'll write clearly. So what is the steps involved here is CVO extension is required to get the value from page A. Okay, this is the first thing.
Yeah.
Pass the parameter to page B in the process request method, the PR
Mm-hmm.
method. CR method, what we do is bind this bind the value, bind the parameter to the LOB and execute it. That's it. So automatically LOB will show that particular data what you mentioned. That's it.
Yeah.
You just need to bind it. See, it's nothing but adding the dynamic where clause.
That's right. Yeah.
Dynamic where clause. So one more thing is, like we should never see if you observe LOB is never binded. We have to apply dynamic where clause always. Nothing but like we should not mention bind parameters in the LOB. Always we have to append the where clause at runtime. That is the logic we follow.
Okay.
Don't bind the LOB at any point of time. Okay. What are the different methodologies that we can consider the default value in the field? Different methodologies is what we can do is there are different ways. One is using a process request method. You can set the value, and other method is like using a Vivo method. We can set a value, right? Correct.
How? Just give me an example.
Process request, are you aware or not? Process request method.
So process request. Yeah, process request is a Java program, right? So it can do anything.
Of course. Using a Vivo method.
Now, yeah, Vivo method. So how will you do it by using a Vivo method?
So using a Vivo method, what we do first of all, either Vivo can have a query or not having a query. Does not bother. Let us say if Vivo is having a query or not having a query, still it's not an issue. What we do is you just create a Vivo, okay, and after that for the item, what you do, you assign the Vivo as well as attribute, right? For the item, you'll assign the Vivo as well as Vivo attribute, and then in the process request method, you'll just call the AM. AM will call the Vivo, and the Vivo has to insert a row and it has to set the value. So automatically, whatever the value which you set in the Vivo attribute, that will get reflected in the item.
Okay.
See here, now if you observe, we have a search in whatever the page it is. Just run the page here, first of all. So if you see here, in the table region, by default it is showing the data, right? How it is showing the data?
Because we executed the VO.
That's it. That is what we have to do.
Okay.
That is what I have written here. Yeah, for a given item, you have to set the VO and you have to set the attribute. So, but in this particular table, where did we set that? If you see each and every column, you have the VO name as well as VO attribute. VO instance as well as VO attribute. For every item, you have a VO instance as well as attribute. So there is a difference between a VO instance, right? So from where you got the VO instance? From where you got the VO instance?
That I don't know.
In the application model, right? While assigning the VO to the AM, the data model it will assign appropriate VO instance property, right? This one.
Okay.
So this was our VO definition. This was our VO definition. While assigning the VO to the data model, so what AM will do? AM will automatically assign some name for it. Generally, it will be same VO name, but with a suffix one. And this is definition. This is a definition. This is a definition, right? And for a given VO, if you observe, it will have the vivo.xml file, vivo.ampl.java as well as vivo.roaml.java, right? And what are the different mechanisms of debugging a framework? So there are different levels here. One is normal SOP and debug mode in developer, and the diagnostics on the instance. So SOP system.out.println is one of the easiest debugging. Nothing but you can just write SOP statements wherever you want, like this. This is one. Wherever you want SOP, you just write them. And other option what we have is debug mode. Debug mode. Nothing but what you do is You run the, first of all, enable the debug point. You just enable the debug point. Just see the toggle option. Just click here, left, mouse left click, it will enable the debug point, red color dots. So once you enable the debug point, now just run the page in the debug mode. Right click here, click on debug.
Okay.
So it will run the page in a debug mode. Wherever you have a debug point, simply it will get stopped there, and unless you step into execution, it will not go further. So it will simply wait for your prompt wherever it will wait for your action to get into the next step if it gets stopped at the debug point.
Okay.
So that is the next. That is what you can do. So so debug mode generally takes much time. Nothing but like now in my case also it will take some time. It will be quite slow, but it's one of the useful debugging tools mechanism which we use during your development.
Okay.
So now here, by default, it has to get stopped. Now we are in the process form request, right? So it will not stop here. It will not. It will just simply show the page, I guess. Yeah, it executed process request now. It will execute a process request. So by default, it's shown the page now, right? But now just raise an event. Raise an any event. I'll click on delete here. Can you see? Now JDeveloper is asking for an action. It's blowing up. It's waiting for an action. You should see the arrow mark also. Can you see? A green color stuff,
Yeah.
red color arrow, small arrow. Now it is asking whether
Yeah.
you want to step further. It is asking to step over, step
Okay.
into something you have. So just click on
So what
F8.
does this do?
Yeah. So now it is stopped. It stopped at this level, and it is asking for us to perform the action. Then only it will go further. Now what we have to do is, if you want to go step further, you can also get this information. Can you see the smart data? And click on F8. Now when I click on F8, it is going further, right? It is executing line by line.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
pressing F8. I'm pressing F8. After this, it went to process form request now. Process form data is over. It went into process form request now. So if I click on F8 again, it will go to next level. Like this, it goes on. Then see red
Okay.
color arrow is getting changed. Red color arrow mark
Yeah.
is getting changed. F8.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That is how it goes, line by line. Now it went from CO to AM. Can you observe? It went from CO to AM.
Yeah.
So now it gets stopped here. And after this, observe which method is getting called? OA.js. Hello?
Yeah.
So now it is calling OA.js page because
Okay.
it has to render the data, right? It has to render the latest
Yeah.
data. Page bin dot
Mm-hmm.
render document. Page bin dot render
Yeah.
document. It is rendering the latest page now.
Okay.
That page. That's it. Now we should see our latest page. Got it?
Yeah. Get it.
And now from one controller I wish to execute the code in the other controller. Is it possible? Yes, sir. From one controller I wish to execute the code of other controller. Is it possible? And yes, how? So this is quite illogical question, but let me show you.
Well, for if it is like that kind of a thing, I can just say I never had to do that.
No,
It's
yes.
simple.
Now let us say I have my search page here, and they are asking
Mm.
that whether can you invoke it? Can you invoke a method of another controller? See, a controller is also Java file, right? A controller is also Java file. Just see here. I'll say here invoice DMLCO. I can just invoke this particular method, right? It's this client this one. Create right? So it's nothing but just calling another controller, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we can do that, right? Of course, we can do that, right? No comparison error, nothing, right?
Yeah.
That's it. So we have a possibility, but what is the functionality? Even I can't expect. Because this is not the way it will work. Okay,
Yeah.
we can do it, but functionality wise, it's not. It's of no use. Okay.
Mm.
Additional SQL statement of a view object used by stage. What is the quickest way to find out? I wish to know the SQL statement of a view object being used by a page.
Oh, that is simple, right? You go in about this page, and then you go into
Correct.
you click on
Business
yeah.
yeah, business component. I can just show that.
Yeah.
How would you deploy the BC4J extension to the server? So this again extension concept. So that is a concept by generally called as substitution. I mean, how do you deploy the this is using JPX import. It's a command called JPX import. Yeah, I just now I think 2 days back I have done it. Yeah, this was a command. Okay. I have extended the view object and I wish to locally test that extension developer. Is it possible without loading the JPX
So
into database?
this JPX import is just like a FND load?
You can consider that way, not exactly
Mm-hmm.
your FND load, but you can consider. So JPEG import is one of the commands which we use to upload our substitution, our DBO substitution into the your MDS data, your NDS, nothing but your metadata service, your
Yeah.
OAF page data repository.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I've extended the view object and I wish to locally test that in the developer. Is that possible without loading the JPEG file? First of all, no. First of all, we cannot even test it. What is asking is I've extended a view object and you still locally test that in the extension in the developer. Is that possible without loading JSON files to database? You can skip this one. Actually, this is not at all a valid question. When you run a SQL trace or OAS page framework session, why are multiple trace files located on the server? I don't have any idea. How do you load XML page develop using developer? So we have to use import command, right? This was the command. How do you upload XML page developed using develop using developer? This is a command which we use for the purpose of deploying the page into your MPS table. See, when you try to deploy your OAF page into server, there are two steps involved. There are total two steps involved. One step is you have to move the DC4J file. It can be XML file or maybe a Java file, class file, as well as all the relevant CO files. All the relevant CO files, nothing but your class file, has to be moved to Java top. Has to be moved to Java top.
Mm-hmm.
And other one is the pg.xml or your shared images rn.xml has to be moved to MDS layer. This is your import command.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you please put those two steps in here?
Actually, it did not ask, but
This,
I just mentioned there. Okay. Anyway,
yeah, yeah.
consider here. Tell me different methods
Mm-hmm.
you can use to get the XML file from the standard OAM pages. So, two different methods. Yes. One method is using JDR Utils API, using JDR Utils dot print document. You can get it. This is one method which I know. And other method what we have is, yeah. So there's a folder MDS folder from middle there. There's a folder called MDS folder. You see that
Mm-hmm.
also you can get it. So generally that is only for the information purpose because that particular folder will not be used by your server at any point of time. Can you see MDS?
Yeah.
This another place from where you can get the your pg.xml file. It will have only pg.xml. It will not have any other source code. So for every appropriate job, now I mentioned the FND, right? But you can have a PO, you can have a GL. For every job, it will have its own set of files.
Mm-hmm.
If you observe, it will have only XML files. It will not have any other files. It will have only XML files.
Yeah. But those files are not executed, right? So that's
It's
what
only
you were saying,
information
right?
purpose. It's only information
Yeah,
purpose. But JDR Utils print
and
document, this is the one which it uses at runtime.
yeah. And you meant like what would actually run is what you have done the import and in the previous step that you showed, right? So that
It
would
will, yes,
actually go and sit in the database.
yes. So what is available in database that will be used by the server at runtime to render the page.
Mhm. So it is totally fine. Like it is not totally fine, but for example, if we just did the import commands, but we actually didn't move these XML files. So still the application will run. It is just that this MDS directory is not up to date.
Of course, right. That MDS is provided by Oracle for their seeded pages. So it is just
Okay.
reference purpose. It is not for the real usage purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question number 29. Tell me two different methods we can use to get the XML definition for standard OAM pages. It is nothing but both same as 28 only, right? Both are same. So please extend the different tasks you can do using functional administrative responsibility. So what we can do is we can enable, disable, download, personalization. Okay, we can either enable, we can delete it, or enable, disable, delete as well as download. All of it, and you can perform personalization also.
Yeah.
All the functionalities can do it. Let's say page A has been personalized using a development, and it is possible to merge the personalization done to same page in two different environments using functional administrator. Merging, as far as I know, no merging is possible. We cannot merge. We don't have that particular functionality as of now.
Okay.
What is the sequence of personalization overridden? So it is just always it follows your normal your AOL hierarchy. The first thing is user, right? Second level is the last, isn't it? Right here. User, uh, responsibility, site, function, then what was the other organization, right? This is it. Correct? So remember, you just click on, let us say you click on personalize. If I am wrong here, you can just see the steps here. By default, it will show you. Site, can you see? So responsibility, organization, then site. So here I am wrong. Somewhere I am wrong. The organization comes, like this. Site, organization, responsibility, and function, and then user. And function and user also I am not sure. What you can do is just check it in here, the attribute, it will clearly show that. Mostly we do at the site level or at the responsibility level. That is what the requirement we come across most of the time. Let's check this one. From this we can get it earlier. What we have site organizing responsibility only, right? But you can just check it, okay? Whether user function or function user, that you can just check it. And what is the DBC file? Where is located? We are already aware. This will be available in the appendix secure. From there we have to get it, and that has to be loaded into our DBC. I mean our what you say, my project folder, DBC file folder. My project DBC file folder. By setting the profile option, not only the person but also the OAF framework extension gets disabled. Please explain why. By setting the profile option, disable self-service personalization, not only personalization but also extension. See, extension by default is a correct. First of all, when you disable a profile value, uh, if it is a CO extension, yes, of course it will get done by default. And if it is a substitution, also it has to be disabled. You can ignore that. How do you create user level personalization? What is it user level? How do you create user level personalization? Acha, you meant to say that okay, for each user they want to show a different way. For each user they want to show a different value. User level actually we don't have. As far as I know, we don't have user level. What we have is only function level, right? We don't have user level personalization in the OAF framework. Nothing but as a user, let us say you want the value to be shown some way, but as a user B you want the value to be shown another way. That particular level of personalization is not available as far as I know.
Yeah. I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, it is not there. We can achieve only conditional way. If we want to user level personalization, we have to perform extension. This user level personalizations are available in the latest ERP of Fusion app. In the Fusion app, we have this one.
Okay.
So of the following levels in personalization, which level has highest and least priority? This is a normal thing, right? So site will have a least priority site, then responsibility, right? Then R, then function. So site will have the least priority, function will have the highest priority, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is normally your AOL hierarchy only. Done?
Yeah.
You have for few more? No. Okay. So here, this is quite actually is high level, but generally you will have some more questions. These may not be expected questions actually. You will have some more extra questions also. The thing is here the concentration majorly was on the extension or personalization area. But if they ask you in the custom development area, how do you write a method, how do you handle the event, or how do you write a logic to remove the selected row. How do you call a PLC program? How do you call the, or you say workflow, or maybe the XML report, or those? That's a different other area of questions. How do you implement a search page? How do you pass the parameter from one page to another page? Another page. Got it? Okay. So it all depends upon the interviewer. So we can't say which is correct. It all depends upon the
Yeah.
position they're expecting as well as the interviewer.
Yeah, that's true. Like normally in Canada and US, well, the kind of interviews that I have faced, if the interviewer is an Indian, he would ask me all these kind of questions. If it is a Canadian or an American person, he will ask me, what is the project that you have done? What did you do? How did it, like, so he will just talk about those. But if it is if on the panel, if there is a single Indian person, then he will start asking all these questions.
Understood. Understood. Typical Indian mentality. I know that.
Yeah, because so I was interviewing, like, so I'll tell you one story, like, I was interviewing somebody for my own team, and so I am the lead on Oracle EBIS side, and then there is another guy who's the lead on the OBIE side. So that guy, like, so when we were finalizing, so I finalized the whole thing. I said, okay, let's just have this guy, like, because you are interviewing, you want another set of years, like, just to, or like, another body to say, yeah, this is okay or not okay, right? So I just invited him. I said, hey, you want to come over? And HR was also there, and this guy, he wanted to show off that, okay, he knows something about Oracle EBIS. And then he starts going into, what table is this? What is this?
Oh.
I was like, hey, come on, man. The guy has, like, 15 years or 14 years of experience. He can find it out, like, and the guy answered exactly the same. He says, well, I can answer your question. Like, I can say that, this, for this one, I know that this is the table, but, like, he says in the technical work, like, there are thousands and thousands of tables on Oracle EBIS. You don't expect me to remember each and every one of them. If there is anything that I need, I'll just go into diagnostics and I will find out, like, I can get the query from there. I can find out what table, what are the joins, everything would be there. So, but yeah, that's what like, if there is an Indian person, then the interview becomes a little difficult, like, because he will ask for all the bookish questions.
Yeah, right. Did I send you one code book? Did I send you one code book I have?
Yes, you did. You send me the code book. Yeah.
So we can expect some questions. If this is Indian, you'll get those questions. Some, if the interviewer is question, the interviewer is Indian, you'll get questions from that particular book. How do you
Yeah.
call? How do you remove the row? How do you call a method? You just remember the onion layer. That is very much important. The onion layer or MVC. That particular area.
Yeah. So, okay, so other than this, is there any general kind of, so these questions I took from Anil Pasi's site. You might have.
And
Huh?
I've seen it. Yeah, understood.
Yeah, yeah. So, is there anything else that you are aware of, or maybe you want to share something that would be helpful?
Let me check. I have one SOP document. I'll send it. We'll just go through that also. But even I
Okay.
try to prepare my own genuine one, but not now. Sometime later.
Mm-hmm.
But go through the PPTs which I have because you can expect a lot of questions from there itself. Because I mean the list of file types, list of file extensions. But like it all depends upon the interviewer. Maybe they may ask you some scenario or something like that also, right? They may ask you scenario how to
Mm-hmm.
build up the pages, those things also they may ask you. What are the
Yeah.
items you worked on? What are the events? Let us say if you want to handle the event, what is the thing you do? And what are the integration possible? Let us say from the OAF, can we call a report? Can we call a constraint program? Can we call a real SQL program? Can we call a workflow? Can we call a OBI report? Can we call a ADF page? There are
Mm-hmm.
maybe some scenarios you may they may expect. Depending upon the experience of OAF, what you get in your resume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can definitely call from a OAF page. You can definitely submit a concurrent request. I have read that, and there was a MetaLink document also on that one.
So from the OAF, what are the possible options? You can call a workflow, you can call a constraint program, you can call a PLC program, nothing but a procedure or a function. You can,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about this one. You can also embed an ADF region, ADF, you can also ADF content, and you can also embed an OBI report also. You can call an XML report also, and you can call your all the AOL objects. Every AOL object is possible. Nothing but your messages, pickup, validate, your DFF, your KFF, right? And what more?
Okay.
What more do we have? Yeah, that's it. All these things are the possible scenarios.
Do you have these documents, like so, for how to do this, how to call a workflow from OAF?
That I will be covering, right? I mean, that is my course content.
Okay, so that is something that we'll be doing later in the later on
Right,
in the
right.
course.
After our mini project, we'll be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Fine. Any questions?
I think, yeah, I think, no, I think like that should be good enough, right? If I'm able to just talk about this much, that should be good
So
enough. Like,
one basic thing. So you know the deployment. You know the deployment procedure, right? Like how we deploy the page. You know that or not?
yeah.
You know, right?
Uh, so you just now mentioned, right, that we will
Yeah.
move all these to,
Right.
we'll move the files to Java top, and then you run the
Yeah.
import pro and JPX import.
Right. So you can also validate that, right? You can also validate that using some backend table. JDR, this one, JDR parts. From here you can validate that.
Okay.
Right. So if they have the property called created by internal, it is nothing but is created by internal means it's a custom page. That is what I know. See, let me just 2 minutes. I'll show you.
Mm-hmm.
Let us say this is my page. What I will do? Okay, we have to mention our project path also. This is my project path as mentioned here, and followed by all TNS entries, followed by the TNS entries. It should be in a single line. It should be in a single line. Copy this one and go to command prompt. Okay. Now I'm in this location, OEXT bin folder, right? I have my
Mm-hmm.
import command, JPX import, excellent. This is for the purpose of extraction. This for the, if you want to develop a page in different languages, then what we do is initially
Mm-hmm.
we develop in one language. After that, we have to get the XLIF extract. That is what by default Oracle provides. You can extract a set of information for the different languages. We does not need to develop separately for different languages. By default, we have
Mm-hmm.
tools. Using that, we can just get the extraction of a particular language. Then we can just use the same thing for the export purpose. There is some particular process we have to follow for that one. So let me deploy this page. See here, this particular page will get deployed to that location. What is the location? So this was the location. This is the location.
Okay.
Now see here. What is the page name? It has imported the document into the MDS layer with this location. So what I will do is I'll just search with this name where path underscore name is equal to my page name. That's it. The last name. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
So can you see the date here somewhere? 2015. This was the one, right?
Yeah.
Internal.
Yeah.
Created by it is showing internal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And still what you can do now, it is showing, see, in the JDR there are total 3 tables: JDR path, JDR attributes, as well as JDR components. So all the things are joined by using this particular path underscore document ID. So this is clearly mentioned in my presentation. Just go to that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there are totally 3 tables: JDR path, JDR attributes, as well as JDR components. Our XML content is not stored as an XML content. It is stored by a record fashion. It is stored by record fashion.
Okay.
That is what the major thing. Now let's see here, what is the document ID? So our document ID is 95484. 95484. 95 where prompt underscore doc ID equal 95484. It will show all the list of components. Observe here, I just have a component. I don't have the property value. But let us say if you want to know, what is the properties for each particular attribute, we have to go here. You have to go to attribute component_doc_id 95484 and see. Let us say I want to find out the properties for my page layout region. What is the component sequence? The component sequence is one, right? For the page layout region. And see what I will do is where attribute_sequence is equal to 1.
Oh, you'll have to change it to and.
Yeah.
You have two ways, yeah.
And not this one, there is something wrong. Yeah, this should be attribute component sequence, okay? Attribute component sequence. Can you see? I have my aim definition, I have my controller name, everything. These are the properties which I have set on my which region? Page layout region, right?
Yeah.
So this is another way where you can find all the information for a given page. Right? So this level they will not go. Nobody generally, even the people also will not do much. I mean, they cannot get this information also. They will not do this level. But
yeah.
Okay.
Like if you know this, like these are the things that would be very helpful when you are actually on the project.
Right, in the real project, yes. Because sometimes in the support projects, we will not have full information. Like when I work in one of the projects, they have just shown the error, and they told me to find out what is the controller for that particular page. They just told me this is a page, and it was not even showing the page name. That is another problem. It is just showing the error, and it is just showing the controller name. From the controller name, I found the page name. From the controller, I have found the page name.
Okay.
A page will have a control information, but a controller will not have page information, right? Now we see, by just observing the page, I can find out what is the controller, but by just seeing the controller, I cannot tell what is the page name. Because within the CO, there is nowhere you mention what is the page name, right?
Yeah.
You may have AM information, but you will not have the page information, right? So from the CO, what I have done is like where attribute value is equal to, I mentioned the CO name, I got my component document ID. From the document ID, I found the page. I found the page name. That is what we have.
Okay.
There are different tricks we have to take. Well, okay then. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much. This was very informative, and then like now I'll just wait for you to email me the documents that you just mentioned. So and like this the answers that you wrote, I obviously you are going to email those for me.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.